and this is example 4 from page 207. Find b, and there's b, given that a is 3, negative 2, b is b, comma 1, and then they are also square root of 13 units apart. Alright, so this one, we could do the graphing thing, and I'm also going to show you the distance formula way, which is actually probably a little bit easier on this. So let's take a look at both though. Point A is at 3, negative 2. So there's point A. Let's see, I'm going to do that in red so it's easier to see. So 3, negative 2. So that's point A. And then B, we don't know how far over it is, but we do know it's somewhere up here on this line of 1. So it's somewhere up here. We don't know where. But we do know that, let's just fake it and say B is here. We do know that this here is the square root of 13 units apart to the B, right? So we got to figure that out. Again, this is going to be a little tricky, doing a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's not going to be too bad, but it's going to be a little trickier. But we can draw this side here, and we know that this has got 3 units, and we know that this is the square root of 13 units. We just have to figure out what this is here, right? And again, it could also be possibly over here. So let's try that way first. I'll put the work over here just since it's next to the graph here. So a squared plus b squared is going to equal c squared. Okay, so again, here's the hypotenuse, so we know that the c is going to be square root of 13 squared. And then let's call a 3 squared. And then we're going to find b. Right, so 9 plus, not a, but 9 plus b squared equals root 13 squared gives us 13. Subtract 9. And we get that b squared equals 4. So square root those, and you get that b equals plus or minus 4. Oop, not 4, but 2, right? So the b could be at positive 2, or at this length here can be positive 2 from here. So it could be positive 2 here, or it could be negative 2. So it could also be over here. Okay, so it could either be this, could be this triangle here, or it could also be, draw that in a different color here, it could also be this triangle here. Alright, so b can equal, it's not going to be, b is not going to equal plus or minus 2, but b is going to, so b could equal positive 1, or that's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So b can equal 1 or 5 by this here. And again, that's a little bit confusing, so let's try doing this with the distance formula instead and see if that's any easier. And then you can kind of choose whichever one you like. So distance equals square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, right? So there's our distance formula. So we can plug all this stuff here into that distance formula, right? So this is x1, y1, x2, y2, and that's our distance, right? So let's just plug all those things in. Distance is the square root of 13 equals the square root of x2 is b minus 3 squared plus, and then we got y2, which is 1 minus negative 2 squared. Okay, so let's do this just to make our life easy right off the bat. If we square both sides, we get rid of the roots, right? Those roots go away, so we just end up with the square root of 13, oops, not the square root anymore because we just got rid of it. 13 equals b minus 3 squared plus 1 minus negative 2 is 3, so that's 1 plus 2 is 3, so that plus 3 squared, right? So 13 equals b minus 3 squared plus 9. Subtract 9 from both sides, and we get that b minus 3 squared, that goes away, equals 4, right? To get rid of that square, we can square root both sides, and then we get b minus 3 equals, again, when you take the square root, it's truly plus or minus 2, right? And then we add 3 to both sides. So we get b equals 3 plus or minus 2, right? So let's work over here where there's some more room. So b is going to equal, let's do this, b is going to equal, we've got 3 plus 2, or b can equal 3 minus 2. So b equals 5, or b equals 1. Right? An exact same thing that we got over here. So again, it's up to you which way you think is easier. This can be a little bit confusing because you have to look at the drawing and try to figure out where those points are. This can be a little confusing just because it's a little bit longer. You're doing square roots and all that kind of stuff. But again, whichever way works for you is fine by me. Okay? That's all there is for this section. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.